Welcome back to Sunday Morning Magazine. I'm Martha. In the house with me again, the Oklahoma County League of Women Voters President, Jackie Lynette. I also have Steve Hunt, who is a concerned citizen, and Dr. John Thompson, education writer and activist. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Great to be here.
It looks like another day of interesting discourse about Oklahoma politics.
It is. It's been a month, and we still got another month to go before the December vote for the Thunder Arena.
And the voices are very loud in one direction and softer in the other, which is one of the reasons why it's important to do programs like this so that people can hear the quieter voices explain their position.
Totally agree. And I definitely thank you for having us on again.
Bye.
Did our at Spiked Coffee on last Saturday, we did our discussion with Councilperson Cooper about the pros and cons of the Thunder Arena vote that's coming up on December the 12th. And Steve and John were both there. I thank both of them for coming and participating. I think for me, I still feel like it's really important for both sides because, you know, we are nonpartisan and we try to get out as much information as possible as far as education goes. I think that, or I don't think, I know, because Steve told me, that the yes people are going to have a lot of ads, and the no people can't afford so many ads. And so what I don't want to happen is for people to go and vote on the 12th and they're only going to vote for what they see, because we all know the impact that ads have.
I've already seen the ads.
Yeah.
The TV ads,
Yeah. I think it for me, it kind of hit home. Whereas when I was younger and we had that right to vote work, and there were so many ads all over the TV saying, vote for right to work, vote for right to work. And then I went and I voted for right to work. And then come to find out it really wasn't in the best interest of the people. So
that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Looks good on paper, or you just don't get all the information. And I think that not getting all the information is part of the problem with a lot of things. So that's why we need to talk about it.
You know, there's a quiet side and a loud side. You know, back in the 80s, there was something called the silent majority. Now we have a silenced majority due to just a lot of different factors, ranging from the consolidation of media to the folks that really control the narrative in this city. We talk about the ads that are coming soon. I went on the FCC website to see what's coming, and starting on the 20th of November until the 11th, Channel 5, just one instance, is going to run 229 spots in favor of this measure. They're spending $32,000 for 8 spots during Wheel of Fortune, and I just thought, wow, $32,000 for 8 ads. If I had that money, wow, I could get a lot.
Now, that's not Channel 5 specifically spending that money.
No. It's the that's another thing, is that it is the campaign which is run by the Chamber of Commerce. Christy Gillenwater and Sean Trotsky are the money people behind it at the Chamber. The campaign is run by Norman lobbyist Pat McFerrin with CMA Strategies, and the ads are produced by Visual Image Marketing. Now, one of the reasons that they're able to, you know, put so much money out is, you know, the Chamber of Commerce has a lot of money, but they also get $7 million of hotel motel tax money that is generated here in the city. A lot of it comes from the Omni, which received $85 million from the taxpayers. So you just in looking at that, you're like, okay, something strange is going on here. And there's a culture that exists that we need to change. And that's the heart of wanting to get a better deal on this Thunder Arena thing. You know, we're going to pay 97% probably.
What we need to be focusing on in this is that there's a hidden cost there for us that's proportionately higher than it would be from some other cities building facilities like this.
Right. It's not just the minimum $850 million that the taxpayers are going to pay. Also, it creates a culture where a lot of outsiders come in and make money off of our city. We're well over 70% of rentals being owned by outsiders, New York, Chicago, L.A., you know. And you know, it's a lot more expensive to live in Oklahoma City than it was when the Thunder came to town. For instance, my old Paseo apartment that was just the best place to live. It was a really happening, vibrant community. $500 is now $1,600, and adjusted for inflation should be $698. So 15th and Lindsay, where I lived about 10 years ago, was $600, is now $2,800. I mean, the prices are just rising insanely, and it's not just the money that we're giving for this arena. It's so much more to it. That it's a culture that we hope to change by getting the information out there to people, and we can get a better deal. You know, it took a couple times to get the initial maps passed. It wasn't called maps. They tried some projects that were voted down, and then it happened. They just came back with a better deal, and then we did it, and first maps were great. I'm a huge fan of these types of things when they're done right. And this is
See,
not
now
right.
that's important. It's important to say that because sometimes people will hear conversations like this and they'll go, oh, that guy just doesn't like this, or that guy just doesn't like that. It's important for you to say that. I'm a big fan of maps. You love the idea of it, but there are ways that we can make this more appealing to the city as a whole by talking about it.
Absolutely. And the people do need a voice on this. 2022 at the Chamber of Commerce State of the City, when the new arena was first mentioned, I spoke with my friends on the Maps board. No one even knew about it. They didn't know it was coming. So this has all been behind closed doors, which is another alarming thing.
Yeah, and I'd like to not only agree with Steve in terms of the facts. He knows a lot more about the facts than I know. But what I enjoy doing is having cross-cultural, cross-generational conversations. And so I've been, as important as this is, I felt like I needed to go out and also reach out to the people who were in favor of it and listen to them. And so having done that, I think Steve makes an extremely strong case in terms of the facts of the matter. I'm also very much struck by the cultural side of it. We've got this long history of having the power structure in Oklahoma City being dominant. And I've seen, I was in the inner circle of one of the exceptions to that, Maps for Kids. I saw what happens when you have a transparent process, a research-based process where people listen to the community, and I saw the way all sides grew as it went on. And so, yes, the evidence here is, I think, overwhelming. This is a terrible, terrible plan. But I also think that if we look at this and the message we send is this plan needs to be voted no, then we need to start over again with a transparent, balanced approach. Then we can make it a major part of growing the city and the city culture and addressing these issues like housing, like my issue of education and all others. Need to have transparency and team efforts.
So you're not saying absolutely not. You're saying we need to talk about it a little bit more and come up with a better plan for it.
For all intents and purposes, that's what those two are saying. But for me, as the president of the league, I'm saying people research it for yourselves, because after I have gotten information on it, I don't know which NBA teams it is or which states it is, but there are teams where they are contributing like 30, 35, 40%, and we're only getting 5%. And then
getting 5% of what?
Of the total cost, the $900 million. The NBA in Oklahoma, so the Thunder, is financing 5% of the $900 million, whereas other states, what's one of them?
So first off, it's probably going to be more like 3%, because $900 million is the absolute minimum, and they're putting up $50 million. So in the past 10 years, 6 arenas that have been built. Sacramento, the ownership group paid 60%. Brooklyn, the ownership paid 85%. Detroit, ownership paid 60%. Golden State, ownership paid 100%. Milwaukee, ownership group paid 60%. And people are laughing at us. There was a reputable sports writer who on Twitter put out, "This is the worst deal I've ever seen." I'm sorry, his name doesn't come to mind. Apparently, Mayor Holt reached out to him and said, "I'd like for you to take that tweet down," which is pretty terrible. There's been a lot of that lately. The Maps board member that I spoke with recently also was asked to take down a post on Facebook that merely said Paycom's one of the 50 best arenas in the world. And, to make it look good and that we don't need a new arena and so, but yeah, I mean, like this is the worst deal ever in the history of NBA financing. And
because we're not asking them to pick up more of the costs.
Right,
Basically, the
and
taxpayers are the ones that are going to be paying the bill for this for how many years? 25 years.
Right. And then for the first time in the history of MAPS projects, they're going to issue a bond to borrow the money to build it. That will probably be originated by one of the owners, Sessions, who owns the largest private bank in America. So they're basically going to loan the money to themselves and then make a big percentage off of it. And just to think of the $50 million, I remember back in 2008 when they wanted to do the MAPS, the penny sales tax for the arena, and multiple times I remember them saying this is all it's going to be. Well, it didn't end up being that. They ended up, after they got that, all the lobbyists went to the House of Representatives downtown Oklahoma City and asked for an amendment to the Quality Jobs Act. And what that does is it gives them back all of their payroll tax. And it goes back to the ownership group, and Chris Castile, an Oklahoman, wrote 2 weeks ago that they have received $75 million back from the state in Quality Jobs Act money. And so they only gave 2/3 of that for the new arena. So the money that they're giving is basically money that we've given them. That $75 million taken away from the state, obviously could go to education and roads and bridges and all the good stuff. But yeah, so it's all just a big money grab, and it's not just the arena. There's so much more to it. I mean,
and I agree with what Steve just said, and I don't disagree with what Jackie was saying. But we have to win this before it'll be a step forward. We have to be able to get the no vote on this piece so that we can get the step forward on a fair outcome. And then the next step forward in terms of having our city care about our diverse population and not just top-down economics for the elite.
Mm-hmm. Well, what would you say to the people who say, well, we have to do it because we're going to lose the Thunder?
I'm going to say that if you just Google, there are a lot of people who have been upset that there wasn't like a year's worth of public discussions before an agreement was signed to put this on the ballot. So just Google that within itself and read that. But then there's also, if you look at the September 26th City Council meeting, there are a lot of people who are very, very happy to vote yes on December the 12th because we do love the Thunder. I love the fact that I can get up and go to an NBA game. I don't want to lose that. So, and we don't know if they're going to leave Oklahoma. Well, we don't know for fact that they're going to leave Oklahoma City if we don't give them this new arena. But
if we don't give them this deal for the arena.
This deal, that's right. This deal for the arena, correct.
Because
correct.
If it's renegotiated and they have to pay more, then they might not accept it.
Mm-hmm. Possibly.
So confusing.
Yeah.
But I can see how, the need for public discussion
should have been prioritized.
Yeah. Because, the one thing they tell you about scammers, what they try to do is they try to make you make a decision right now. And that way you don't have time to think about it. You don't have time to discuss it. You don't have time to go through the pros and cons because it's an emergency. You must do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's absolutely what this is. And, the fact that they're having the vote December 12th is specifically to get a small turnout so that they can, energize their base and get them to come out. We talked about the 26th. The majority of the people that were there speaking in favor were invited by the Chamber of Commerce. I've spoken with Chef Black and many of the others that were there. They were asked by the Chamber to please come. And that you get in good with the Chamber, you're going to do really well because they control everything.
I will want to say in conclusion, on a positive note, that Councilperson Cooper did say that he created a job resolution. And on the job resolution, it focuses on the most affected, and this is, you can quote this, most affected by unemployment or underemployment, and the unhoused, as well as those served by organizations addressing reintegration and recovery. So even though it will come with a hefty price tag, a lot of people will get jobs from it if it does go through.
Well, I don't think any of us is really questioning the benefit of having a deal. What I hear you saying is that it's not the right deal.
Correct.
Right.
Absolutely.
I'm saying weigh the pros and cons for yourself.
I'm not. I didn't mean to put words in your mouth, Jackie.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Being neutral is important for the Oklahoma County League of Women Voters, and I think that's why these conversations mean so much to me as a radio person, because neutrality is important when you're talking about big things.
And I'd also add, James Cooper, this is an example of, I'm just so impressed with what he does in terms of getting what's doable and working with the system. And he's done an excellent, excellent job on this. And that's the other thing I've seen from so many of the meetings I've been to. I'm especially impressed with the younger generation having been so thoughtful and having been so willing to listen and exchange ideas. They are exemplifying what we as Oklahoma City need to build on to become what we can be.
Excellent. Okay, last words on this issue?
I just want everyone to read up on these issues. This is a very nuanced issue, and anyone that pays attention knows that the country, the world's in a lot of trouble right now. And as our beautiful native friends say, everything is connected, and that's something that we need to consider. This is not just about the arena. It's about the wider culture and the wider world and people, being able to control their lives.
Excellent.
Yeah, I will just say that a previous senator had reached out to me earlier, and they said that, well, I heard that Councilperson Cooper was playing both sides. I said, I don't think he's playing both sides. I think that he's trying to just look out for everybody as much as he can. There's not a simple solution for anything, and all of the weight can't come down on one person. One person doesn't have all of the answers. It's up to all of us. All of us need to get our opinions put together for ourselves, and then we need to go and voice our opinion by voting on December the 12th.
Excellent. Well, thank you guys so much. Dr. John Thompson, education writer and activist. Steve Hunt, a concerned citizen with the Thunder Arena Swindle Part 2 show on YouTube. And Jackie Lynette, the Oklahoma County League of Women Voters president. Thank you for joining us on Sunday Morning Magazine.
If you would like to have your organization featured on Sunday Morning Magazine, send a message to our Sunday Morning Magazine Facebook page or email martha.steele@cumulus.com. Sunday Morning Magazine, a Cumulus Media production.
OXO takes pride in making every day better, so you can feel better about doing big tasks like this and this. Even this. We're all doing better because OXO partners with 1% for the Planet and donates 1% of its sales to community food programs. So every OXO product you buy helps enrich food systems around the world. For the many things we do, we're all doing better for the planet. OXO and 1% for the Planet. Doing better.